Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona, Burbank, California, and we're going to be in Honolulu, January 11th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. So you know how they were, they're the people protesting in Atlanta against, it's called Stop Cop City. So they've took over all these acres and they're building up these training facilities for cops and all this stuff, and so people are protesting it. And that's the beauty of America. You get to protest stuff, except not anymore. You don't get to protest stuff anymore in America, and they're criminalizing those people, and they took them to court. And the same grand jury, and they're using Rico statutes, which were invented in the 70s to go after organized crime, meaning the mafia. And that's why everybody was okay with it.
Democratic government was defund the police and what have you, weren't they?
Yeah,
this is the Democratic establishment.
These are the same Democratic establishment that are using the same RICO statutes and the same grand jury to indict the Stop Cop City protesters used to indict Donald Trump in Atlanta. This is real.
Yeah.
And when I brought
that op is done now.
When I brought that up to genius Harvard professor Cornel West, who showed his ass fully when he was on my show, when I brought this up to him, he called me a Trumper. All the money laundering charges against the Atlanta Solidarity Fund, so they've all been dropped. So it was all bullshit.
Wow, just like the January 6th convictions vacated. Yeah. Wow, all the things were not real, it turns out.
All the things, 91 felony counts against Trump. Not one of them have to do with January 6th. Why is that? All the money laundering charges against the Atlanta Solidarity Fund 3 have been dropped. This was a totally baseless case brought against Stop Cop City organizers providing mutual aid. Even the Georgia Attorney General couldn't stand by the charges. Yes. But this sets a precedent. So what they were doing is they were setting up bail funds and stuff like that to help. And this is to scare you from trying to do that.
Well, don't do it unless George Soros says you can do it. Don't do it on your own. Wait for Soros's word next time,
So, Georgia prosecutors drop all 15 counts of money laundering against 3 Cop City activists. Now, to their credit, the AP seems to have assigned their best reporter to it. It's RJ Rico.
Ha!
Yeah. Is R stand for Rico? I hope so. I hope his name is Rico J. Rico.
He's too sexy for this story. Too sexy. Georgia prosecutors on Tuesday dropped all 15 counts of money laundering that were levied against 3 Atlanta organizers accused of misusing a bail fund to aid violent protests against the city's proposed police and fire training center. I wonder what they mean by violent. You mean violent like they were angry, or they actually got guns and started shooting? What do you mean violent? I think they just mean that they were angry. We're going to find out. I think we'll find out. You know how violent you can get with cardboard and paint? You know what I mean? That kind of violence. Atlanta Solidarity Fund leaders Marlon Coutts and Adele McLean and Savannah Patterson still face racketeering charges. Racketeering! Along with 58 others who were indicted last year following a years-long investigation into the Stop Cop City movement. Prosecutors have portrayed the decentralized movement as being led by militant anarchists, hell-bent on radicalizing supporters and halting the construction of the facility by any means necessary, including arson. Oh, really? They're militant, but they don't have guns. That's what I love that. They're militant. Militant are anarchists, but no guns, right? So they just mean they're angry. That's all that means. Okay. At the center of the case is the Atlanta Solidarity Fund, which has provided bail money and helped find attorneys for arrested protesters. Prosecutors said the 3 defendants funneled money that was supposed to be for charitable causes and instead used it to reimburse protesters who spent months camping in the South River Forest near the site of the facility in DeKalb County, just outside Atlanta. Oh, the vicious crime of camping. Wow. The vicious crime of doing something good with the money. Holy cow. You want to hear how much money they're talking about? Are you ready for this? Hold on to your... Transactions that prompted the 15 counts of money laundering included $93 for camping supplies, $12.52 for forest kitchen materials.
It's outrageous.
Judge Judy wouldn't take a case this small. But just as the motions hearing was about to start Tuesday, the Deputy Attorney General, John Fowler, told the Fulton County Judge, Kimberly Esmond Adams, that he would be filing paperwork to dismiss it. Yeah, you know what? We're just about to start. Turns out, I guess those people wouldn't cop to a plea. That's what this means. That's what I think it means. That they couldn't scare these people into copping a plea. That's what I think it means. You mean you're not going to prosecute militant anarchists? You're not going to bring that case? A spokesperson for Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr did not say why the money laundering charges were dropped, but emphasized that the racketeering charges remain. Kristen Novey, the attorney for Patterson, applauded the decision. The entire indictment is defective, but with those particular counts, I think it is a wise move for a seasoned prosecutor to say, this isn't worth it. Sometimes the hardest call as a prosecutor is to not go for something.
Oh, because your career might be harmed? Because that's what drives all the prosecutors, and they're all full of shit, and they all prosecute. And in fact, you know, prosecutors fuck up like slam dunk where the guy's guilty, and they fuck it up because they overcharge to try to be a star. It happens repeatedly. The whole system is so rotten to the core, but Atlanta in particular.
Demonstrators and civil rights organizations have condemned the racketeering indictment and accused Carr, a Republican, of levying heavy-handed charges to try to silence a movement that has galvanized environmentalists and anti-police protesters across the country. Opponents say that the 85 acres, $110 million facility. Boy, you think there's a better way for Atlanta to use that money? I can't think of one.
Yes, for illegal migrants to put up in nice hotels.
That's right.
I could go. I'll bet.
Opponents say that the 85-acre, $110 million facility will worsen police militarization and harm the environment in a poor, majority black neighborhood. Yeah, that's what we need. We need more police militarization. That's really what we need.
Hey, I want to thank all the BLM people for making it so that we have more police militarization.
That's what they did. I know.
Great job. Great job, everyone.
Efforts to prosecute those responsible for numerous violent Stop Cop City protests have hit multiple stumbling blocks. Last year, DeKalb County District Attorney Sherry Boston, a Democrat, announced she would withdraw from the criminal case tied to the protests, citing disagreements with Carr. And in July, Judge Esmond Adams castigated prosecutors for committing gross negligence for mishandling confidential email conversations that Couts, McLean, and Patterson had with their attorneys. They mishandled them? Mishandled. Though Esmond Adams denied defense attorneys...
Did they eat something sticky? And they ate something really greasy and then touched all the pages. Did Fannie Willis make love in a cabin to her boyfriend on them?
So, Atlanta Cop City protester was killed by an officer, and he had 57 gunshot wounds. The guy, Stop Cop City protester, shot 57 times by the cops. I wonder if that was one of the violent Cop City protests that the AP story is referring to, where the cop shot a guy 57 times.
What was they shoot him doing? Like, was he at least doing something that required one gunshot, or was at least one gunshot required? I'm hoping at least that much, and it wasn't just like a sandwich.
They had to make sure he wasn't standing up anymore with his dangerous bandana. So Hannah Riley says, I'm not a lawyer, but I sure do know a lot of them, and they tell me that the state didn't even try to paint what the organizers were doing as money laundering. They were baseless political charges that even a super conservative attorney general couldn't stand behind. This was also sort of the linchpin of the state's bogus case in the Cop City Rico, that the Atlanta Solidarity Fund was somehow the center of this large criminal operation, and that the money laundering charges underline that. Now that they're gone, where's the case? I really, really hope this is going to fall apart like a house of cards and the rest of the charges will also be dropped. Also, sorry to be a downer, but don't want folks getting too excited too soon. The Rico is still going forward for now. It's just money laundering charges for these three that have been dropped by the Attorney General. It's still a big deal given how much of a case was built around it.
Oh, by the way, just for the record, that guy that got shot 57 times, what they claimed was he shot and hit a state trooper. However, there was no gunpowder residue on his hands, which would indicate he shot any bullets at all. So he probably didn't do anything. He probably just got shot. And who knows how the state trooper got shot at one by that guy, but they got him 57 times.
Yeah. So here they are protesting. This was recent. This was September 16th. Today, Atlanta City Council meeting erupted in protest with the Stop Cop City movement demanding that the political establishment let the people decide by dropping the city's lawsuit against the referendum campaign. You want to see some of it? Here's some of it. So I'm not a fan of prop comedy, but they're yelling, "You have dropped the ball," while throwing ping pong balls. You know, there are kids in China right now who don't have any ping pong balls. And you guys are just throwing them away instead of working on Olympic dreams for those kids. That's all I'm saying. Sadly, there's more balls in that room than in either the Senate or the House. Come on, am I right? Come on. So apparently that worked a little. Here's what Andy, that Ngayo guy, that guy's such a mental case.
Oh, Andy No.
How do you say his name?
Andy No.
And is Andy No? He says, yeah. Leftist rioters, part of the domestic terrorist Stop Cop City movement, trashed and attacked Atlanta City Council to try and intimidate them into hating the first responder, halting the first responder facility being built. That's what he calls it. A first responder facility.
Number one, he's not going to be objective about that because he got hit in the head with a cement milkshake by Antifa. Antifa are the scum of the earth, and I would not shed a tear for any of them.
Antifa is an infiltrated organization. That's what that is.
The ones that aren't infiltrated are also human garbage, and they're violent and stupid and awful. And they attacked him physically.
I saw that. They did do that
repeatedly. Look, even the ones that aren't feds are the biggest pieces of shit on earth. So he's not going to be objective about that. He's just not. I don't really understand what Cop City is supposed to be. I don't understand why you need a city of them. And I don't believe whatever the state's saying it is what it is. I'm sure it's something much worse. They would never do anything for the citizens of a state unless they were illegal.
Look at this. Nothing says militant, Kurt. More like your Aunt Millicent in her no-nonsense red sweater, lime green pullover, and pink wool dress, huh? She's a walking stun gun of static electricity, am I right? Come on.
She might be the craziest one all, dude. All these people like that, they're I promise you they probably are like far left and think you're a right winger, most of them. But you're just fair to the thing. That's all. I'm
all for protesting. I'm all for protesting.
Fair. It's not a milkshake with cement in it. It's ping pong balls. Good.
Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona, Burbank, California, and we're going to be in Honolulu, January 11th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.